Alright, so here we are, the brand new Drum Weapons 3 GUI. As you can see, it's more like hardware than the last one. It's a lot better in a lot of ways. This is, we're getting further into making plugins now, so we're getting better at it. So, as you can see, it's just, it looks more like a hardware piece, kind of like an MV, blah, 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 but it's only 12 pads because we do 12 sound kits. So you got the pads here. You got your faders that control the kick, snare, hat, and the extra channels, just random. You got your panning right here, pretty self-explanatory. And you got your cool little LED knob for your ADSR. Then you have your pitch adjustment, pitch up and down. You got your balance, left and right. Then you got overall kit reverb. Then you have the overall volume for the kit. And you can change the resample quality for some, it makes a little difference, and you can also change the velocity curve depending on how hard you play on your keys or your pads. It'll change the output. It'll make it easier to attain a louder sound or less easy. To go through the patches, it's pretty simple. You can either click right on the patch and it'll bring up the whole library. Just select one randomly, or you can click here to go to the previous patch, or here to go to the next patch. Now, something that's cool about this is the pads are mapped accordingly to how, you know, they would be more easily played, but the kits are not. So it's going to show the corresponding in here where it actually is, as you can see. So that is the GUI basically. And one thing I wanted to point out is, yeah, we did touchscreen optimize it, but there's something, always something kind of strange about selecting this aspect. When you're trying to select the kits through here through a touchscreen, it doesn't really let you touch them. It's more of just previous and next if you're doing that, so I suggest you use the mouse to select them like this, or you can just like that with the touchscreen. So that's the GUI. I'm going to get more in-depth into the mappings and all that stuff in the next segment. Alright, now we're going to talk about the mappings of the kits themselves. Each kit starts at note 36, which is in some programs C1. Sometimes it's C3, sometimes it's C0. It's kind of irritating that every program is viewing note 36 as a different note, but whatever. We kept the mappings the same as in Drum Weapons 2, so that people who use Drum Weapons 2 can literally just insert DW3 in place of Drum Weapons 2 and, you know, use it, instead of putting it where Machine starts or where Fruity Loop starts. It's, the whole situation is irritating, honestly. But so note 36, that is the C, that is where it starts. So you got 3 kicks coming up from there: main kick, secondary kick, another kick. Okay, so what we have here is, instead of before, you know, there might have been the same kick over and over, or the same snare, there's actually variations of the kit, the sounds within each kit. So for this one, there's you know, there's the main one. It's either going to be unprocessed or use the MP60 or the SP1200, and depends on which one we like, the way it sounded better. So the main kick is always going to be itself, and then there's going to be the variations. It's either going to be MP60 or SP1200. There's a little bit of difference there. You can hear how it reacts. And there's the 3 kick. Then it goes to the snares. We got the main snare. Now it might just be dry, it might be you know, processed, whatever, but this is always going to be the main snare right here. And then you're going to have your alternate snare, kind of like your triplet snare or whatever you use it for. So, and then you're going to have your transition snare, which is in every kit now, instead of just a couple as like Drum Weapons 2. It's either going to be, it's usually just going to be a big reverb there. It's good for transitions. So you got your main, transition, the alternate. This will be either like that or just in MP60 or SP1200. Just, it's going to be different. And then you're going to have your transition. And then it comes to the hats. Now the hats, these are the first two. There's going to be the main hat here, And then you're going to have an alternate. It is going to be, like I said, MP60 or 1200, or it's just very vaguely, not a huge difference, but you know, it just depends. And then the second lits of either the second kit hats are going to be starting here, and then you're going to have a variation of that. And then you're going to go to the opens. It's either going to be an effect or an actual open hat. So, as I said before, 3 kicks, 3 snares, 2 main closed hats, 2 alternate hats, 2 opens or effects type scenario. Okay, so another thing about this is somebody had mentioned something about the choke. I tried to address it here at work sometimes, but these are all going to choke. The alternates, the second versions, are going to choke the second open. Yeah, it worked. So it chokes it. Either the alternate and the second one. These all choke each other. Anyways, so that is the mappings. I'm going to move on to the pads. Now the pads are mapped not directly the way that the keys are, just so you can play it more easy on the touchscreens. And I still wanted to retain the same mapping as drum weapons too. So this is how it goes. They have different colors coinciding to each type of drum sound. So kicks, main kick there, that's blue. Main snare, red. Main hat, green. Open, yellow. Now as you'll see, blue, blue. Snare, this is going to be the reverb snare here. This is the main one. Reverb snare here. Then the alternate snare goes back. I made this a different color because it's a different type, kind of different type. Hat, closed, closed. First alternate, open. Second alternate, second close, or second open. So that is the mappings, and like I said, it starts at note 36. If you're in machine or something, for instance, just take your group and change the key mapping to start at note 36. You'll probably have to go down 1 or 2 octaves, and it'll play just like normal. It's really not a big deal. Just right click in the group. But that is the key mappings, and I'll move on to the next segment. Alright, so I'm going to go through the library and kind of tell you, give you the idea of what we got here. Like I said before, it is 530 completely new kits, not one sound the same as what was in Drum Weapons 2, or anything else for that matter. Nothing is going to sound the same, nothing is the same as what is in Drum Weapons 3. So, just like before, I was toying with changing the prefixes on the names. The DRM kits they were going to have different names, but I decided to keep everything the same so it's familiar. The DRM kits are just traditional stereo out drum patches. And as you can see, then we have our PDR kits, which are the Pro Drum patches. Those are multi-outs, and you have to enable the multi-outs in order to utilize that. Also, we have vinyl ones. They're straight from vinyl patches, DRVs, and then we have, corresponding to that, PDVs, which are the multi-out versions of the DRVs. Now from that point, we have percussion again. A little more advanced and extensive percussion selection in this one. Then we got quite a bit more sound effects, and that is kind of what makes up the library. It is larger in itself because there's 12 completely different sounds in each kit, and actually in the percussion and the sound effects kits it's different. Now also in the percussion kits we do have the all kicks and all snares and everything, but I just have a preemptive version in this. In the pro version that you guys have gotten, it has the all snares, the all hats, and all the kicks that are in all the kits. So you can create your own kits just like before, but there's a lot more now. So there's that. Now, I wanted to address the issue where Drum Weapons 3, I wanted it to have more of a diverse sound. I wanted to maintain the boom bap kind of old school hip hop sounds that was in Drum Weapons 2, but I wanted to make it more diverse this time. Make it a little more, because we got the traditional kind of boom bap. We got those kind of kits. Let me try to think of something that's a little more off the wall. I haven't even got the time much to mess with it. What is this? Something kind of crazy. Jungle Zone. I don't know what this one is. Let's try it. A little more diverse here. We're just getting a little, and then we got some nice little acoustic kits, things like that. It's a lot more diverse than it was before. It's a little more modernized, not quite as dark. And one thing I wanted to address right now is that when you are going through the patches, if you're using a touchscreen, selecting the actual patch list here by doing this with a touchscreen, as of right this second, you can't actually click any of these. You can bring it up. But, you know, when I'm using a touchscreen, I just go to next or previous. See, it works fine. But I'll show you, if you use the touchscreen here, you can't select anything. Anyways, I'll fix that, and we'll be adding the MIDI out. But that is the library, and I will move on now to the next segment and show you some of the patches. Now I'm going to run through some of the kits themselves, show you some of the diversity that we have now in Drum Weapons 3. I'm going to start off with just a traditional kind of Drum Weapons 2 type boom bap kit. Just play a simple pattern. So as you can hear, that's like an old school type sound kit right there. And then we got something a little more crazy. That's the Inferno Kit. And then we got cool acoustic kit. Yeah, see? The acoustic kit, and we got something a little more crazy. It's banging. This is more modern style. Definitely not something that was in Drum Weapons 2. What's something else I like? I don't really know the kits offhand. I just made them and was ready to go. Let's see what this is. Yeah, pretty dope. All these kits are gonna be sick, I already know. I could just play this pattern, huh? so dope. It's crazy. I seriously, this one here is bananas. Look. I love that kit. I really love these. Here, this one's pretty off the wall over here. Another one's crazy over here. Some clean. Another one that's kind of crazy. From the vinyl kits. Straight off vinyl. Dang. I'm just gonna stop. Move on to the next segment. I'm wanting to make beats right now, so. Okay, now I'm going to address the reason why there is this here, the true analog technology that we put into this. Now, instead of like convolution and stuff that we have like in our Analog Legends program where it takes, you know, it kind of essentially recreates the sound. What we did here is over the last 10 months while I was making we were making the kits for Drum Weapons 3. Once I got them done, I knew that I wanted to separate ourselves from everyone else because there's a lot of people that are trying to copy what Music Weapons is doing right now. So what I did is, through our contacts, I got up with somebody who has, well, let's just say some nice gear, and I was able to acquisition a MP60 and a SP1200, as well as utilize a nice Nieve console and a Studer reel-to-reel deck. And so what I did was I had all the kits made and I put them all through. First I found I put them randomly, the kicks and the snares and the hats, one each, through each the MP60s and the 1200s, and bounced them in. And then also from that point I put them into through the whole kits, all the files through the Nieve console as one, and bounced it to the Studer deck. Now once I got them back into the digital realm, that was when the fun started, trying to make sense of all these crazy amounts of files that I had now. But all throughout the whole process, I kept the kits the same way I had them mixed initially. But there's a difference between Drum Weapons 2 and Drum Weapons 3, is that this is the real sound. Now you're gonna notice when you're messing with these kits that you're just gonna be like, they're so, you know, they're so round and full and smooth yet crisp. You know, that's what analog does. It gives you that 3D type character to your sound, and there's really nothing else you really have to have for your drums at this point. I mean, you might, if you want to compress and do things, but pretty much Drum Weapons 3 library is set, ready to go, just because of the true analog. This is actual gear that was put in. That's why it sounds like that, because that mixed with the 64-bit resolution audio engine, it makes it exactly sound like when it came off of that tape right there. and we bounced it into some really high-end converters. So what you're hearing is exactly what it would sound coming in. We only touched the character a little bit. We didn't want to make it crazy, but you'll definitely hear it on the lows and on the snares and on the hats for sure. You'll hear that smoothness, that roundness to it. And that is what true analog technology is, and it's something we're going to be, I'm going to be using these kits like crazy coming up. I'm honestly, after making these, I am so fiending to make beats right now, just hearing these kits and what I can do with them, because Drum Weapons 2, they were bounced out of beats. It was just mixed the way I had in the beat. We bounced them out, made them into the software. Drum Weapons 3 was completely different. I made the kits instead of making beats for all this time. I've been making kits like beats and just creating all new kits, varieties of them, trying not ever to use the same types of sounds, but yet having them all dope. And the selection is just ridiculous in this. I can't really imagine anyone ever coming even close to what we got here with Drum Weapons 3. And I mean, good luck to everyone else, anybody else out there selling drums or hip-hop software, because there's no way that you can really compete with this quality of the library that we got here, because we took a long time. I mean, everybody else, you know, people talk whatever, try to compete with us and say that blah blah, but you can't say nothing until you hear it. There's no way that you can ever compete with what we did here. I doubt you'll have the time. We don't just take random sounds and put them into a folder and sell them to you. This took almost a year just to make the library, all original stuff. So that's all I'm gonna say. True analog technology, Drum Weapons 3, that's essentially the end. But I'm gonna go right into this is the end of the VSTi audio units part. What I'm gonna go right into talking about the extras. You get the wave collection right off the bat when you buy it. You get the waves and the plugin, whatever you select, the 32 or 64-bit PC or the Mac audio units or VST version. So you get both, and but you also get the wave collection, so you can use it in anything else. But in the next section here, I'm going to address the Reason refill that we're right about to be finished with, and the machine expansion, which is both going to be available separately. I was initially going to make it come with it, but only the pre-order limited edition people are going to get that for free. Otherwise, if you buy Drum Weapons, it is going to be a small additional fee, but if you buy Drum Weapons, just the refill or the expansion, it will be considerably more. Just putting that out there. So I'm going to move on to the next segment, just talking about the refill and such. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about, you know, beyond the VST and the audio units plugins themselves. We're also going to be offering the you get the wave collection with it, but we're also going to be offering the refill. This is the refill itself as of right now. I'm going to keep going with it. I'm going to make all the kits directly in the Kong, as you can see here. They're right in there, exactly the way they are in Drum Weapons. So I'm going to load it all up. I got a pretty decent amount done already. I'll get them done pretty soon. And that'll be the refill. As you can see, nice and cool, Drum Weapons 3. I'm also going to do a redrum kind of template kit and you're going to have the whole kits within the refill, all the wave files in there, and also it's sorted by types of sounds, kick, main kick, blah, blah, main snare, reverb snare. And I'm going to set up a redrum kit where you can just scroll through the Drum Weapons sounds and make your own kits in redrum. And might add a couple other things in the refill itself. But this is kind of what I'm going to do with Machine as well. I'm going to take and recreate the kits in Machine. I'm going to make groups for Machine because I want the individual sounds to be able to be tweaked in Machine. Instead of making it sound patches, just sampler patches, I'm going to make them groups, so you have them each one on each pad, and then you can add your effects in Machine. So there'll be that. all the kits, all the sounds in a machine expansion, and there'll be the groups obviously and the audio files within the machine expansion. And once I get that up, you'll see that, and that's really it. I'm gonna go move on right to that's pretty much the end of it. Drum Weapons 3 is $149.99. You can cop it at musicweapons.com. I am verbal, running you through this, very lengthy, semi-boring on my end. I'm not a videographer, I'm a producer, and I make plugins. But this is essentially the end of the video. I'm going to be doing bonus materials on it, showing you how to set up drum weapons in various programs, and that'll be it. So thanks for watching, and if you want to see how to set it up in different programs, then just continue. Peace. Alright, so one thing I forgot to mention is if you have a website with a decent amount of traffic, anything relevant, and either you want to review drum weapons or whatever, or either if you're just somebody that bought it and you can bring traffic in, you will definitely want to sign up as an affiliate. Go to the affiliate section of musicweapons.com, and if you're gonna, you know, gas us up or talk good about us and link people to us, you might as well use that link, and you're gonna get 20% commission of any sale that anybody makes within a certain amount of time after you refer them to our site. Anyways, so what I'm going to do here is just a quick setup of how you get going, a stereo kit and a multi-out kit in Cubase 5. If you don't know how to use this, you're definitely missing out. I believe it's probably the best software for recording and producing ever made. So first thing you're going to want to do is create a new project, file, new project. For this purpose, we're just going to do empty because we haven't made a template or anything yet. And this is where you select where your audio files and your project are going to be stored. So you're going to select that wherever you want it to be. I'm just going to put in projects for now. Now, as you can see, it's just an empty slate. There's nothing here at all. No worries though. You can add whatever you need, project, add track, blah, blah, blah. But for a quicker way to, if you're just going to be starting with VST instruments, is just to go to devices, VST instruments. Here is your VST instruments pane. You can add up to 64. And drum weapons, both the 32 and 64-bit versions, both install to the program files x86/VST plugins directory, your standard VST plugins directory. They're both there. Cubase, you're never going to really have to worry about it. If you have it there, when you open it, it's going to know what's up. So it automatically detects changes in the folder. So it's going to be there. All you're going to do is click in one of these slots, and your VST plugins, your instruments will come up. We're going to load up Drum Weapons 3. You're going to have Drum Weapons 3 or Drum Weapons 364. Click it. We're going to want to create a MIDI track. Why not? Goes with it, already set up. And there you go. That is how you bring it up. Now I'm going to show you how to set up the routing. As you can see right now, it's just going to one stereo output, which is okay. So in order to use a multi-out version, a PDR version, we'll go to a random multi-out version. Now, as you see, when you click on anything other than a kick, you don't hear it. What is that about? I don't hear anything. That's because these are the Pro Drum versions and they are multi-out. So you're going to have to enable the multiple outputs. As of now, there's only one. And all you do to do that is in here in the VST instruments area, click on the box here with the arrow leading out. This is the routing outputs of it. Click it and enable the first two writes. We have 8 outs for future proofing, but enable the first 2 writes. That is, then you will have kick, snare, and hat. The extra channel, as of now, is not utilized, but it is in the interface for future proofing. So now you have left, right, right, kick, snare, hat, kick, snare, hat. Now you can rename those. I usually do. There you go. Now you have a multi-out version ready to go. Something I like to do is create a group, essentially a submix of all the drums, and send the drums to that. So now they're submixed here, so you can individually adjust, add EQ, plug in whatever kind of effects you want, or you can do kit-wide effects in here. Add whatever you want, but also be able to change it within. And that's the reason why it's Pro Drums. And also, another great thing about that is when you are bouncing out, Cubase has the auto track out feature. So when you're exporting, export audio mix down. Oh yeah, whatever. When you're exporting and you have these multiple outs set up, you can go to channel batch export, and there you go. It's going to bounce them immediately to separate tracks all lined up. And that's another reason why Cubase 5 is awesome, because it's literally takes 40 seconds to bounce out even like 16 tracks, and you set the options here. But that is the reason why the PDR kits exist, so that you can have more control over it, and also in professional situations you can track it out without going through all those annoying steps. So that is the quick setup with Cubase. I'll move on to the next. Alright, now I'm going to quickly run through setup in FL Studio. Despite its shortcomings and such, there's a lot of people that still use this, and I'm not going to say it isn't. It's very dope. If this is your thing, you should stick to it. It's very nice. And of course you can use Drum Weapons 3 in Fruity Loop Studio very easily. So, like I said, it automatically installs to your program files VST plugins folder. If for some reason it's not there, go in and rescan the folder. I'm just going to assume that it's there. So how you add it, this is a blank project. Go to channels, add one, more, just to see, and if it's there in your Drum Weapons 3, let's see. There it is, yay. So there we have the 64-bit version too. Anyways, Drum Weapons 3, if the F isn't there, click refresh, fast scan, blah blah blah. So you got Drum Weapons 3 in your list, so go to add channels, add one, then go to Drum Weapons 3. Like I said before, if it's your first time, it's going to ask you for your license. Pop it in, you'll be good. As of now, it works. Alright, so it's, as of right now, it's just a stereo plugin. To enable the multiple outs in and use the PDR kits in this, they're all right now going to one stereo out, which is the cool thing about Fruity Loops is it sums it. But if you want them separate for whatever reason, click the little gear, go to processing, and then right here send them to 1, 2, 3. Now you have Drum Weapons in multiple channels. One, two, three. Kick, snare, hat. There you go. So that is how you set up Drum Weapons 3 in Fruity Loop Studio, and I am going to move on. Enjoy. If this is what you use, it'll be fun. Alright, now I'm just going to run through the quick setup of Drum Weapons 3 in Ableton Live. Obviously, if you have the 32 or the 64-bit versions, they're both going to install to the program files x86/VST plugins folder. Your default VST plugins folder. So installing it, just running the installer, and then when you launch Ableton, it's gonna scan for the plugin and it's gonna show up in your plugin devices. On Mac, obviously the install process is different, but both the VST and the Audio Units versions are both just called Drum Weapons 3. For PC, the 64-bit version is called Drum Weapons 3-64. Very simple. Now, to use Drum Weapons 3 in stereo, just the simple stereo, single stereo out, it's really simple. All you do is drag Drum Weapons 3 to a MIDI track or an empty slot. And obviously the first time you launch it, it's going to ask you for your license key. Just enter it and press enter and it will come back. As you can see right now, it is all just routed here to this single out. All the kick, snares, and hats and all that. So that's real simple to set up. You're already ready to go for that. But if you want to use the multi-outs so you can affect things separately, the kick, snares, and hats, then in a PDR kit, all you do is, I'll just open up a PDR kit, random. Okay, so now you got a PDR kit, and all you're gonna hear, it's just like in the initial ill drums when it was all multi-out, is you only have the snares. See what? Oh, there's no snares or hats. So a real simple way. This doesn't just apply to Drum Weapons 3. It's any multi-out VST instrument. All you got to do is insert 2 audio tracks. Now take the audio from, go to Drum Weapons 3, do that for both of them, and have this one in this area right here where it's asking you where, go to the first right, and this one go to the second right. Now this will be snare, this will be hat, this is kick. Oh yeah, duh. You have to click the monitor in. There. I don't really use Ableton Live, but as you can see, I have the trial version. Here you go. And that is how you set up the multi-outs. As you can see, they're all in separate areas. Kick, snare, hat. Now you can apply any effects or whatever you want to each individual area, and that's how you set up multi-out and stereo, single stereo versions of Drum Weapons 3 and any other multi-out VST in Ableton Live. Okay, well that's basically the gist of the video. I was gonna do a machine one, but seeing how we're making the expansion for it, it's kind of pointless. People are probably gonna opt more to use the machine expansion, but you know, you just load it up like any other VST plugin. It's no problem, and change your octave down to get to note 36. But anyways, Drum Weapons 3 available January 14th at musicweapons.com. The illest drum sounds ever created, super ill, no lie. Just cop it, and it's $149.99. I'm Verbal, founder and CEO of Music Weapons. Peace.